That's the reason you stay the same every single freaking year. Because you're in the wrong brainwave. And as much as you try to use force... Hey guys, it's ZD here, and I am super excited to be going over why your brainwaves are screwing you up. I can't tell you how many people that I talk to every single day, and they're saying, I've done everything, Zach. I've done mindset processes on how to clear up limiting beliefs, and they're still not working. Even the 6 times a day method, I'm trying to meditate, I'm trying to visualize. And for some reason, it's still not working out for me. Now, I'm going to break down a little bit more in detail why this isn't working for you and how to make it work for you. But the first thing we've got to realize is that we have brainwaves that are happening 24/7 inside of us. You know, it's how the brain operates, and it works out in brainwaves. And we have 5 different brainwaves, but I'm going to go over 4 today to give you kind of a little bit of a understanding about what they really are and how I can get the most out of this. Because I realized in my life that going through hypnosis, going through NLP, going through all these different amazing practices, and I always say these are all amazing. I'm a big fan of them. But the reality is, you can either make it hard or you can make it easy. And I feel like you're on this video right now because you want change. And yes, I've got to fight my cell inertia to stay consistent for a long period of time in order to get results. But the reality is you want to get it in the most easiest way. And I've worked out, if you know how to tap into theta brainwaves, the whole game will change in your life. You know, this absolutely took me from literally struggling, broke, not making money, to literally being able to pull money towards me very, very easily. And it comes back to the theta brainwaves if you really understand it. We have 4 brainwaves really quickly. First one is delta. It's at the bottom. Let's just put it at the bottom. The bottom is when we are asleep. And the more higher we go, the more awake we are. So if we're at the bottom and we call it delta brainwaves, well, delta brainwaves is when I'm in rejuvenation. I'm sleeping, I'm in very, very deep sleep. You know, you probably had a nap before for 30 minutes and you feel like it's been 8 hours. That's delta brainwaves. It's where your whole body is in full rejuvenation. It's healing up anything. If you've been learning a lot, it's creating so many things in order for you to have energy the next day. It's very, very powerful. We all go into delta at certain times. If you've got high stress and you're not sleeping properly, there might be issues in your everyday reality because you're not tapping into delta brainwaves. The second one up is theta brainwaves. Now this is what I want to talk about. But theta brainwaves is a highly suggestible brainwave. It's like it doesn't have an analytical part of the brain. There's no conscious mind when you're in theta. I could say to you, you look like a monkey. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm a monkey. You'll believe you're a monkey. I could say, a person could say you're beautiful and you'll just take it on. But how many times have you been probably called beautiful in your life before? And you're like, oh, something like that. There's a positive and you're like, no, I'm not that. No, I'm not. You push it away. And the reason you push it away is because you're conditioning, but the reason is because you're not in theta. But if I put you in theta brainwaves and then I said it, you'd embody it. You would take it on easily. Haven't you realized the reason you are struggling in your business? You could go to a seminar, you could go to the best event in the world, but you know why it won't work? Because you're not in the right brainwave. You know, imagine you're in a high brainwave, a highly analytical brainwave, and then the teacher that's teaching you something is teaching you really good information, but you're not going to take it on. The person will say, you can achieve anything, and you're like, yeah, I can, but then the analytical mind will be like, no, you can't. I don't think we actually can. Look at our past failures. That's the reason no program works. That's the reason your event that you go to doesn't work. That's the reason you stay the same every single freaking year. Because you're in the wrong brainwave. And as much as you try to use force, and the more you try to manipulate reality by thinking, I just need to analyze this a little bit more. Haven't you been doing that too much? That's what leads to perfectionism. The perfectionism are the people that can't get into theta brainwaves. Because they're analyzing too much. It's got to be perfect, because if it's not perfect, but when is perfect done? It's never going to be perfect. It needs to be a little bit more bluer. It needs to be instead of just doing it and working it out and getting in theta brainwaves, saying how freaking incredible you are, and then moving forward with simple actions. The reason most people don't actually take action in their business is because of the brainwave. But theta brainwave is highly suggestible. It's what a hypnotist gets their client into to see different things into their reality. So if I got you into a really relaxed state, your brain and heart got connected, you would start to slowly enter your subconscious mind. And when you're in the subconscious mind and you're suppressing the conscious mind, because that's the goal of my brainwave. If you breathe into your heart for 2 to 5 minutes, we are suppressing your analytical mind. So your analytical mind won't go off on a tangent saying this is bullshit, I don't know why this is not. If you're not using the meditations properly, then probably your overthinking mind will take over. You know, how many times have you got into a meditation and then your brain is just talking too much and you're like, I'm not really feeling this right now, because you're not in the right brainwave. But the more you do this over and over again, the more you get your brain and heart connected, the more you're starting to suppress the conscious mind, and then you open up into the subconscious mind where anything is possible. Another way of saying it is, if I get your brain and heart connected, you're in a higher frequency. And when you're in a higher frequency, you're not thinking about your everyday resistances. You're thinking, you're using your imagination, you are everywhere. You are literally using that metaphysical world and going into that future and living like you've already got that future. And even though when you're in it for that moment, you don't have an analytical mind saying, as if this is gonna happen. That's the real secret. Now, if you're doing this 6 times a day, what do you think this is gonna do over the next 6 to 8 weeks? It's gonna change your whole freaking life. But most people, I don't go into this in too much detail, and the reason I do that is because I just want to make it basic. Sometimes if I just say, hey, meditate X, Y, Z amount of times, people follow through and do it. I've had people that still have come to my events, I tell them to do this 6 times a day method, they have the biggest months in their business ever. And they're blown away financially, and then the person's still like, my left brain is still skeptical on how this works. But I don't really go into this too much. I do it at my events, but the reason I don't is because I just want you to do it. And the more you just move the needle forward, the more you just go for it in life, and you stop analyzing freaking everything. Trust me, I wasn't a smart person in school. I was not a person in school that was smart. If you really look back and you went to talk to any of my teachers growing up, I would get overwhelmed when it was a test. I'd be the person that would try to study and I would still fail. But you know what? That was good for certain people to be smart and analyze everything and be really quick. But I wasn't more of that. I was more of the imagination. And the imagination is an action taker. And I know right now, it doesn't matter about your freaking past, what you've done up to this point. If you're an action taker, I would take an action taker over someone that was super smart. Because super smart will keep shooting in the same thing, oh, I've got to analyze it this way. Screw analyzing, take action. Do the 6 times a day method. Stop telling me. I mean, freaking tell. Do you know what's crazy? I say it on podcasts all the time. I literally give you this shit for free. For free. And you still don't do it. You still don't follow through. Do you understand that you could have whatever life you actually freaking want if you actually just did it? You took action. You actually started following through. Literally, think about it. Even if you think, Zach, do you know what? This is spiritual stuff. I ain't like the energy stuff. Well, do you know what the fact is? Do you like your life right now? Are you making a shitload of money right now? Well, if the answer's no, why don't you take on someone else's jumper and try something on for a little bit of time? You'll get a better freaking result. I can't tell you how many people have just done this and it works. I can't tell you how many times my phone goes off every single freaking day. I'm swearing on that. Every single freaking day. Oh my God, I've manifested this, I've attracted this, I've attracted this. From just doing something simple. Just doing something simple and taking action on it and suppressing that overthinking monkey mind. If we can get you into theta, that's what I do at my events. If you come to one of my events, you'll probably do 10 to 15 meditations a day. But they're all different and they're all part of the event, so they're all connected together perfectly. But you'll be in such a deep trance, you'll be in such a deep reprogramming that you come out the other side being a completely different person. Why? Because we've literally shut off your analytical mind for those days. And I teach you, not just to do it at my event, how to regulate that so you can self-regulate yourself. Whenever you get into a fearful state, you can self-regulate and get yourself into a calm state again, a really intentional state again. I think that's really the mastery of success. It's really who can self-regulate. If you can self-regulate, because think about it, most people get overwhelmed, they get scared, they get stressed out, and when they're getting those emotions, do you take action? No, you don't. If you're really thinking about this right now, maybe the best thing to do is to start taking action on something simple, just like I tell you right now. Get yourself and train yourself to go into theta. It's just like a muscle. Right now, if you've never exercised and I put your muscle under some stress, it's going to hurt. It's going to have what we call delayed onset muscle soreness. You'll be sore the next day. But the more you do this over and over and over and over again, the more it's trained, the more it's ready. for more stress, to more handle. So if you're literally meditating inside and some stressful stuff's going on, you'll react very much quickly. But over 6 to 8 weeks, you won't react as much. And the more you do the 6 times a day method, something bad could happen in the physical world and you'll choose to celebrate it instead of get stressed about it. You have a completely different reality, right? That's the secret here. Then we go up to alpha brainwaves. Alpha brainwaves is where you're more focused on your internal than the external. So meaning I could slowly get into a meditation, I can still hear things in the background, but I'm more connected to my internal. A lot of us go into alpha when we're driving. You think you're focused on the outside world, you're actually not. How many times have you been driving, you don't even remember getting to a certain place because you've been so much in your internal. You're more focused on your internal than the external. And then the beta brainwaves is more when you're focused on the external over the internal. So it's when you're highly interactive. Now, if you go high beta, you're in high stress panic attack mode. You go into low beta, you're actually in a really good, teaching state. You can actually go into a really good teaching state. But these are the understanding. I teach this at my event coming up. My event's in the next 3 weeks. If you want to come, please reach out to me or come to another one of my events if you can't make this one. I'm telling you, it will literally change your life. When you understand metaphysics, when you understand how the game works, when you understand your brainwaves, the business stuff is simple. So if you can start getting yourself into this state. Imagine this. I get you to close your eyes right now. I get you to breathe into your heart. I get you to connect, your brain and heart connected together. And then all of a sudden you will feel your overthinking center start to get suppressed. I'll start placing pictures inside your mind of the things that you want, and you'll start dreaming about things that you really, really want. If you understood the science, you're starting to create a wave, and that wave will instantaneously go out into the physical world and start finding its match, its vibrational match, which will start magnetically getting it pulled to you if you do it over and over and over and over again. Now, another question is, how do I actually clear limiting beliefs? Because I can do this for an intention, but how do you use your theta brainwaves to clear up limiting beliefs? Well, if I get you into a really good state like that before, or you're about to go to sleep, and I just say to myself when you're breathing into your heart and you do the meditation, you set the intention, you say, look, I have this belief that I'm holding on to inside my body, which is I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, blah, blah, blah. Whilst I sleep, unconscious mind, would you be able to remove this right now and clear it from my body? I trust you, and I'm ready for you to let this go. If you do that over and over again, your body will do it. Just the same as if you tell your brain right now before you go to bed, hey, wake me up at 5 without an alarm, it'll wake you up at 5 because it already knows the time. So the same thing has happened. You've got to tell your brain when you're in the right brainwaves to clear certain limiting beliefs, and it will with ease and grace. So guys, that's my message for you right now. If you want help with this, come to one of my events, work with one of my team, and we can teach you this at a high level. Guys, have an incredible day, and I'll talk to you all very soon.